So, you're buying a new place in Malaysia. That's awesome. But hold on, there's this one piece of paper that's, well, it's everything. It's called the CCC, and trust me, you're gonna wanna know what it is. Let's break down why this document is your golden ticket to moving in.
Okay, picture this. You found your dream home. The builders are finally done, and you are so ready for those keys. But hang on a second. How do you actually know it's safe? Like, for real. Is the wiring good? Is the foundation solid? That's the big, scary question, right? Well, that's exactly what this whole process is built to answer.
To really get why today's system is such a big deal, we gotta take a little trip back in time. See, before 2007, things were, well, they were a mess. Getting the green light to move into your new house was an absolute nightmare for pretty much everyone.
Back then, it was all about something called the CFO, or the Certificate of Fitness for Occupation. And here's the kicker. It was all handled by the local government authorities. Now, as you can imagine, these offices were swamped, understaffed, overworked. It created this massive bureaucratic traffic jam. The result? You, the homebuyer, were stuck waiting forever, and developers were pulling their hair out over all the delays and extra costs.
And this right here, this shows you the night and day difference. We went from a slow, government-run system bogged down in red tape to a streamlined process led by actual qualified professionals. It totally flipped the script. The power and the responsibility was put right where it belongs, with the experts who actually designed and supervised the project.
So this whole situation led to the modern solution we have today, the Certificate of Completion and Compliance, or CCC. And believe me, it was a total game changer.
Yes, so in 2007, the law changed, and it was a massive shift. The main goal wasn't just about making things faster, though that was a huge plus. The real point was to put the legal and professional responsibility smack on the shoulders of the architects and engineers who were actually in charge.
And I really can't stress this enough. This was a huge deal for the entire industry. It just made everything smoother and brought a whole new level of accountability and, honestly, trust to the whole home buying process.
So think of the CCC system as being built on 4 big ideas. For you, the person buying the home, it boils down to this: safety, compliance, efficiency, and accountability. It means your home is safe, it was built by the book, you get your keys faster, and if something goes wrong, there's a specific person who is legally on the hook for it. Simple as that.
Which brings us to the hero of our story, really, the central figure in this whole process. If the CCC is the key to your new home, this is the person who actually makes that key.
Meet the Principal Submitting Person, or PSP. This is your qualified architect or professional engineer. Basically, think of them as the captain of the ship. The developer hires them to manage the entire approval process, and when all is said and done, they're the one who signs their name on that dotted line, personally guaranteeing the building is safe.
And their job is, well, it's massive. The PSP is on site making sure everything is built according to plan. They're the one talking to the fire department, the water board, the power company, you name it. And here's the really crucial part. They have to personally sign off on 21 different critical stages of the build before they can even think about issuing that final certificate.
And this is where that accountability thing really hits home. This isn't just about shuffling papers. No way. If a PSB signs off on something that's not right, the consequences are super serious. We're talking huge fines, getting their professional license suspended, and yep, even potential jail time. So when they sign that form, their entire career is on the line. It's their bond.
Okay, so what does this 21-stage journey actually look like? Let's walk through it from a simple blueprint to a finished, certified home. All right, here's the bird's eye view. It all kicks off with getting the building plans approved. Then, the real work begins, construction, with the PSP keeping a close watch. Now, the real heart of the process is that Form G certification, those 21 stages we keep talking about. Once all the utilities are hooked up and the PSP does one last final inspection, only then, and I mean only then, is the CCC issued. Yeah, I'm going to say that number again, 21. Let that sink in. This isn't a quick once-over at the very end. It's a whole series of checkpoints peppered throughout the entire construction process. Each one needs a formal sign-off. This system is known as the Form G certification, and it's designed to catch problems early. And here's just a little peek at what those 21 stages actually cover.
We're talking about the absolute fundamentals, right from the very start, like the building's foundation, all the way up to the roof, the electrical systems, and of course the fire safety stuff. Every single one of these forms has to be signed, sealed, and delivered before moving on. It creates this perfect paper trail of accountability.
Now look, the CCC system has been a massive step up. But like any system designed by humans, it's not perfect. It faces some real-world pressures. Let's take a quick, honest look at both the good and the challenging. First, the good stuff. Who wins with the CCC? Pretty much everybody. Home buyers, you get safer homes and you're less likely to face those crazy delays. Developers can wrap up their projects faster. The professionals, like architects and engineers, have clear authority. And even the government wins because it cuts down on their bureaucratic load. It really is a win-win-win-win situation.
But we have to be real about the challenges too. Sometimes a PSP might feel pressure from a developer who wants to finish a project quickly. Enforcement of the rules isn't always perfectly consistent from one area to the next. And the entire system, the whole thing, depends on people keeping meticulous, accurate records. That's why things like ongoing training and super high ethical standards are just non-negotiable for these professionals.
Okay, so let's tie this all together. After all the concrete is poured, all the inspections are done, and all the forms are signed, why does this one single certificate matter so darn much to you?
Because at the end of the day, it's all about this. It's about turning a building site into a place you can call home. It's that final piece of the puzzle, that guarantee that the place you're about to live in is not just finished, but is genuinely safe.
I love this because it just hits the nail on the head. The CCC is so much more than a piece of paper. It's a professional's promise. It's their declaration of safety, of quality, and ultimately of trust.
And here's the bottom line for you, the final practical takeaway. Without that CC, a developer cannot legally give you the keys, a process called vacant possession. So this certificate, it's your green light. It's the legal key that finally unlocks your front door, allowing you to move in, start your new chapter, and sleep well, knowing your home is certified safe.
And that leaves us with a pretty cool question to think about for the future, right? We've seen the system evolve from government-led to professional-led. So as we move towards things like digital submissions and smarter buildings, how can new technologies make this promise of safety even more rock solid? It's an exciting thought. Thanks for joining.